guys, what's up? It is GVK Collectibles, and today it is the 1st of October, which means it's Spooky Month, and that also means it is Freaky Figure Review Friday. So this entire month we'll be taking a look at horror and monster figures this whole entire month for the spirit of October and Halloween, of course. And I figure, what's a better way to jump into one of the most iconic monsters of all time? Both the black and white and color versions, Neca, Frankenstein. Alright guys, as I said, today it is Freaky Figure Review Friday, so as I said, we'll be going through and looking at all monster movie and horror figures this whole entire month in honor of, you know, Halloween, October, being one of my favorite holidays, of course. And I figured let's start with one of the iconic monsters, of course, Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster, technically, because it's not Frankenstein. Frankenstein's the doctor. But I figured we'd take a look at the Neca, both the Neca black and white version and the colored version. Now, these both came out a while ago, and these are the first in the whole Universal Monster line for Neca, and I gotta say, I was super excited when this line was announced. I was super excited when this guy got announced. Then we got a color version, too, which is pretty great, too. So, it's actually really, really cool with both of these boxes, these Ultimate Frankenstein monsters. You have the classic poster, this is the color version, the classic poster that you all know with Colin Clive, May Clark, John Boles, and Boris Karloff, as of course, is the titular monsters, of course. So, and this one, the black and white one, which I actually had to look up, so this is apparently a 1931 teaser poster for Frankenstein, so that is pretty cool. I really love how they kind of deep dived, where you have the much more iconic poster that a lot of people are familiar with, and this really, really cool one. So, we get both the side of the Frankenstein, we have both shots of the Frankenstein, and of course, it's really, really cool because it's not just the same logo. They're very, like, they have the Universal Monster logos right here, but you also get the respective, like, the classic kind of looking Frankenstein and the teaser poster Frankenstein. And they also have different expressions on, which is really, really cool. I really love that attention to detail that they did. And especially with the back, too, they're very different expressions, which is really, really cool. And if you'll notice, a lot of them, both of them have different kind of shots. You have the production shots of both Frankenstein's monster, very, very iconic shots of these characters. And of course, let's just take a look at the black and white one. You get the opening right here, and as you can tell, I have had this figure out of the packaging for quite a bit, but either way, you get like a cool production shot of the monster himself. And the same thing with this, the Ultimate style figure too. Then you get like kind of the casing of where everything is. He comes with a lot of accessories. So, with that out of the way, without me talking about the box, which is wonderfully done, and as always, it does come with the art critics down here for who created the figure, Universal Studios, of course, which is really, really cool. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at both the black and white version and the color version of Frankenstein. We have the monster, Frankenstein's monster, of course, out of the packaging, both the colored and black and white version. And I gotta say, for this being the first Universal Monster figure from Neca, I really think they knocked it out of the park with both these variants, too, which is really, really incredible. Now, to note, these are practically the identical figures, but there are enough changes here and there, like with the black and white version and the color version, that I feel like it justified me getting both these guys. So initially, I was going to review just one of these guys, but I figured I'd do two of them just because they are very different colors, and it also kind of contrasts with what we suspect of the Frankenstein design. Of course, this design being super iconic, it's actually a little bit, even though it isn't completely accurate to how Mary Shelley's is described, this design, along with Boris Karloff, became instant classic, and it's been kind of burned into the lexicon in pop culture as the most as the identifying Frankenstein design. Of course, he's not Frankenstein's monster, but I'll call him Frankenstein just for the sake of this video, even though I very much know that this isn't Frankenstein's monster. Both of these come with the exact same accessories, but they are really well detailed for each specific figure, which is really, really great. The sculpting on this is incredible, so and the paint apps are really, really well done. Some of the best I think I've seen from Neca so far, and this is only their first figure within the Universal Monster line, which is incredible to think, and we have more of these figures along the line. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at their accessories. I'll just do them at the same time just because they are practically the same, but they are really, really well detailed. So let's take a look at Frankenstein's accessories. Alright, as I said, the Frankenstein monster does come with a few accessories. It actually comes with a bit, so 3 interchangeable heads and also multiple interchangeable hands with each sculpt. So here we have, this is kind of like his kind of grunting, like I would say chained up face. It looks like kind of like he's, you know, angry, and it looks really, really good. Like, I really love the amount of detail that is included in the figure, including like just a lot of the detail in it, and then you get to have this kind of like red dry brushing, so it's not like a true kind of green color. It's more of a kind of like a dark, like a very, very dark kind of green color. I don't know exactly how, but you get to see like all these kind of like red throughout to kind of like give that illusion that, yeah, Frankenstein is consistent of different parts of different corpses, so it definitely makes sense of why he has it like that. But it's really, really beautifully like detailed. The hair looks really, really amazing, and this is on both sculpts too. So you get this other sculpt, which is kind of his more like kind of like grunting face, I would say, which looks really, really good. Same amount of detail as well as on that one. And also here the black and white ones, very, very cool, which I really enjoy. It's not just purely just a white kind of color face. It actually you have some dry brushing here and there, some hints of it throughout the whole face, which looks really, really cool and really well done. This appears on both heads as well. Of course, I'm not showing the kind of default expression just because we'll get into closer detail with both Frankenstein figures. We'll do it at the same time. So there's the head sculpts, which look really, really cool. He does come with multiple like different accessories. So he comes with the flowers to kind of recreate the scene with him and the little girl, kind of showing Frank's first kind of show of compassion from people, like from this little girl before, you know, he accidentally throws her in the lake, but he doesn't know any better. But yeah, the flowers they're really hard to tell, but they are really well detailed. These are the black and white versions, which look really, really cool, really well done. Let me show you the actual colored ones. These look really, really cool to kind of give the illusion of dandelion, like sunflowers, I guess I would say. I'm not completely sure, but they look really, really good and well done. He does come with multiple different hands as well. So let's do the colored version first. So he has like kind of grabby hands where you can like recreate some of those iconic scenes of where within the film of like where you see him in his first appearance. Which looks really, really good. Once again, very similar to the head. There's like kind of this red dry brushing all around, which looks really, really good. So it isn't just like a solid green. It does have that kind of green color, but it isn't like, it's more like I actually think it's more of an olive kind of color. Then you also got the chains here too, where you can put them in. Really well done. With these ones, they are, so here's a comparison to both ones, the colored, the black and white ones. You can see there is a very different in coloration. Like this is the black and white one and this is the colored one. And also the multiple different hands as well, which is really, really cool. Both of them are practically the same, so let me actually just show, so that you got like two of the kind of out grabby hands to kind of recreate the kind of like iconic pose for the character, which look really, really good. Really, really well done. Once again, they have that kind of red dry brushing all around, which is really, really cool. And also he does have like a left and right kind of grabby hand for the flowers, which looks really, really cool, which is really well done. Once you saw like me having the figures just pose, this is how I had the color version done, which looks really, really cool. Really, really well done. And the exact same thing with the similar hands with the black and white version, but these ones do have that kind of same black dry brushing all around, which is really, really cool. And it's like that kind of white, kind of, not cream I would say, it's a very kind of white, but there is like that hint of dry brushing, which looks really, really well done, really, really great. And of course, like the chain along with the flowers. So yeah, those are all the accessories. A lot of cool, they are practically identical in every aspect, but they are really, really cool. They are all detailed really out well for the particular figure that you're with whichever Frankenstein you decide to get, the colored version or the black and white. So they are really, really well done. So with that out of the way, let's get into the closer details of Frank himself. Here's a close look up at Frankenstein himself. So these both have the just the pale expression, just the very iconic look of where you actually get to see Frankenstein for the first time during the movie, which looks really, really good. So both these figures are really, really well detailed. Both the exact same mold, of course, which definitely makes sense, but they all have, if you could tell, they both have their very unique details. Once again, as I said, really cool with the whole Frankenstein figure with this side. I don't know how accurate it is, but I really enjoy that it's not just a pure kind of green color. You actually have those red coloration throughout the whole figure, along with like the scar and everything, and of course like the little like not antenna, I don't know, the bolts, that's what they're called, the bolts on the neck look really, really good too, which is really, really well done, I think, from the figure as well. So let's take a look at the colored version real quick. As you can tell, the colors look really, really good too. It is a black coat, but you do actually get hints of kind of gray dry brushing or a little white dry brushing throughout the whole figure. Makes sure the actual texture of the suit, the clothes actually pop, which makes it look really, really good. As I said, the bolts in the neck look really, really well done as well. Really, really cool. And also the pants, you get some detail on there too. It's this whole kind of black molded paint, but you do get like hints of like dry brushing throughout the figure, like this kind of grayish color, which looks really, really cool, really well done. His boots, very iconic looking boots, and also like, which is really, really cool because you get that illusion, you get the idea of like this is a creature that has multiple parts from different corpses. So you got like the kind of chicken wire right here that's hooking the joints together, which looks really, really cool and really, really well done. Due to, even though like you don't see a full extent of like how the figure looks, you do get like hints of like what is under the suit, which I think is really, really cool that Neca pulled that off. And also just the look of this Frankenstein, as I said, very iconic look and very made from Boris Karloff, which is really, really cool. Then you got the red, like once again alluding to that this is like a creature that has multiple corpses built from it. Like this creature had multiple corpses parts to it. So there's Frank from the colored version, and here is the black and white version. As you can definitely tell, there is that same kind of detail. You have a lot of that kind of gray-white kind of dry brushing throughout the figure to make it really pop and make it kind of look truly like a black and white figure, which I really appreciate because I've never really seen like black and white figures done to this extent before, which looks really, really cool. Once again, he also has that pale expression, but like not a lot of paint. Like you don't have a lot of the paint detailing, mainly because it's a black and white version, but you actually, like, I really love the kind of the white that they go with and the mixture of the kind of black dry brushing throughout the whole figure, like with the face and everything. Then of course you get like the same thing within the joints, which makes it look very much like a black and white. Like this is just, you pulled this directly from the movie, which looks really, really cool. And yeah, but like the sculpting detail on the pants is really, really good. Same thing with the jacket for both these figures. They have really, really good painted detail on them. So even though this is technically a black and white variant figure, it is not lacking within detail, which I think I really, really love, and I really appreciate that they were able to, Neca was able to put that onto the figure itself, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I really enjoy both these figures. I actually have them both posed a little different just to kind of match them, as you kind of saw in the beginning. This is like, I like to think the black and white Frank is like, he's captured from Frankenstein, he's being held by Henry because he's seen as a failed experiment, but while the colored version is actually like looking at flowers and everything, like he's getting to experience life, which I really, really enjoyed. So, which, like, I don't know if that's like a little too much, but it's just really, really fun. I do love both these particular figures. So we'll jump into Articulation next. I'm just going to probably do Articulation on the colored Frankenstein, just because it is these, as I said, these two figures are nearly identical in every way. Same thing with Articulation, so you only need to really see Articulation from one figure, so let's get into that next. With Frankenstein's Articulation, he can look up pretty far, which is actually really, really cool that they were able to do this for this Frankenstein figure. It's really cool. He can look down quite a bit, making him look kind of, not menacing, but like just how very much he is in the beginning of the film, which is really, really cool. His head can move side to side because the actual neck is on a ball joint as well, so it can move side to side, up and down, which is really, really cool. And of course, it can move quite around quite a bit, as you can tell, like, since it's on a ball joint. His arms can move out that far, which is really, really cool. He does have the single jointed elbow, which is kind of, you would think I would have a problem with, but at the same time, it completely works out for this figure in particular, just because of how big that single jointed elbow is, so you're able to get him in poses like in the movie, so like that, which is really, really cool, I think, and it's really, really well done. And these like the single jointed elbows like on this guy are a lot better than I think like a lot of the older Jason Voorhees figures, because there is that issue of where they're not able to bend really all that well. His hands do move up and down because they are on a hinge, but they're also they can rotate all around, which is really, really cool and really good. So you can do that, which is really, really great. He can move side to side. So the waist is connected on a ball joint, and he can move. He has kind of an ab crunch, which is really, really good. And he can also move side to side. His legs go out that far, which is not too ridiculously far, because I think it is hindered due to the kind of diaper, but like this kind of diaper that even McFarlane has. But at the same time, you're not really gonna get your Frankenstein into really like big action poses. He's going to be kind of a hulking mass, so it kind of makes sense. He does have the double joint, he does have a single jointed elbow. He can rotate his feet all around. He does have he has an ankle pivot. Let me get to my thoughts there. And he can move, like, there is a hinge on the joint itself, but I haven't moved it all too much, so I don't really want to, like, risk breaking it. So, the Frankenstein comes with really, really great articulation, about as what you expect from Neca. The single jointed elbows, you would think I would have a problem with, but I'm actually okay with it, just because Frankenstein is just this kind of big gut monster, so it does make sense that he can't really move his arms all too well. But yeah, really, really good articulation, and as I said, the articulation is about the same for the Frankenstein, the black and white version. So with that out of the way, let's get into some size comparisons to see what he scales with. Here's Frank compared to some other figures from different companies. Of course, we have the McFarlane Gunslinger Spawn that we did last week. We have the Wicked Cool Toys Spartan Collection Noble 6, the Amber Collection Elliott Sadler, and the Black Series Captain Rex from, of course, the Black Star Wars Black Series, as I said. And you can definitely see he is pretty big. He practically dwarfs pretty much all these figures right here. He's a little on par with, he's actually a little shorter than the Spawn figure, which I actually talked about in the Gunslinger Spawn review, that he's actually, like, he and Frankenstein, he's a little bit bigger than Frankenstein, which is really, really interesting to see. But it's really, really cool to see, like, size comparisons. So you can actually, probably with the Elliott Sadlers, if you wanted to use, like, a smaller figure in that scale, like, as, like Frankenstein carrying like a woman or something, like to recreate from the movie, you can definitely do that with. For one final comparison, here's the Frankensteins compared to some other NECA horror figures. Of course, we have the retro cloth 8-inch My Bloody Valentine Minor, aka Harry Warden. We have the Jungle Hunter Predator. We have the Big Chap Alien, and we have Jason from Jason Lives. And of course, a little teaser for this month as well. Somebody from the Puppet Master series, of course, Blade from the Puppet Master series, who you may or may not see on the channel this month. So yeah, you can definitely scale. Like, he is a little bit like he's on par scale with the Predator, and he's a little shorter than the Alien, but not by too much. But once again, these horror figures, I really love the diversity of horror figures that we get from NECA, where we get the classic stuff, we get Predator, like Slasher, and of course, really kind of like video store classic figures, very much like Blade, the Puppet Master movies. And here we have both Frankenstein monsters in kind of the opposite poses that I had him when the beginning, the black and white now has the flowers, and the colored is now chained up. So, overall thoughts with the Frankenstein figures, I think these figures are absolutely fantastic. These are the first within, really, NECA's Universal monster line. Of course, we have the Mummy coming up, we have the Wolfman as well. I think the Invisible Man, Dracula coming soon, and hopefully we'll get the Gill Man, which I absolutely love Gill Man. But with these Frankenstein figures, I think they're great. It's a great way to start off the Universal monster line, I think. Really, really fantastic line, really cool, very iconic in any way. I feel like any collector, if you're a casual horror fan or if you're a hardcore horror fan, you should definitely pick up these figures because I think they're both really fantastic, really cool. The accessories they came with, they are very much in line with that original film, the very that Frankenstein film, which I think is really, really great. I'm very excited to see where the line continues. Hopefully we get to see more reveals this month from NECA. Of course, as I said, they're going to be doing their horror kind of month this month, so every day is going to be a different kind of horror figure, which I think is going to be pretty cool. So with that being said, I definitely recommend getting these figures. They're both fantastic. So with that being said, that's Freaky Figure Review Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed this first installment of this month. As I said, we'll be taking a look at horror movie and monster movie figures this whole entire month, which I'm very, very excited about. A lot of cool ones that I have, a lot of figure reviews that I've been meaning to get to, but of course, I figured I had to wait until October just to do them because it just made sense. So with that being said, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit the little bell notification so you get notified when we upload Myth Come Out Monday, What's in the Box Wednesday, and of course, Freaky Figure Review Fridays this month. Also check us out on Instagram and Mercari. All our links will be down below as well. So with that being said, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day and have a Freaky Friday. Anyway, peace, guys. Hope you have a great day.